Welcome back to another video. Today we're back working on the Transporter. So in a previous video with this van, you might have seen that I found a bit of rust, which we didn't like, which we sorted, and that's all good, but it's kind of boosted me into doing an underbody treatment on the whole van to protect it and preserve it as much as I can, as I don't plan to get rid of it. So let's try and keep the thing alive as much as possible. So I've got various products I'm going to use, which we'll go through in a bit, but for now let's get it all jacked up on axle stands, wheels off, start stripping all the undertrays off and give it a good clean before we get going. Now I don't know if you can see, but this is one of the problems, because they've got so many undertrays everywhere under here. You can't actually see what's going on with the metalwork. So I mean, it looks all okay under here. I mean, like, those arms are rusty and the exhaust isn't the best, but I'm not bothered about those sort of bits. They're all replaceable. I just want to make sure the body is solid. So next thing is going to be trying to rip all these undertrays off. Well, that took a lot longer than I planned, hence why I stopped the time lapse, because who needs to see that? But yeah, I forget how many undertrays and, you know, dust shields and everything there is underneath one of these things. Front wheel arch, big centre one, front under tray. These are just all like underbody ones. Exhaust shields, rear wheel arches, and then yeah, more this side. Look, more there. Another heat shield, another wheel arch liner. Yeah, tons of them. So I've organised some of it. Some of the bolts are a bit rusty, so I've just ordered all new ones, so it goes back together nice and easy and looks fresh. This isn't a restoration of the hull underneath it, it is just like a underbody treatment, so just trying to stop any rust getting any worse. I haven't found any nasties, a few scabby bits which we'll have a look at, but nothing that's sort of scary. There's the bit that I did have to repair before, which is all good, but yeah, just needs a good clean up. Yeah, it's a bit scabby in places. Yeah, we'll go into that a bit more depth. Next thing is going to be organise all these bits, and then I'm going to give it a good pressure wash underneath. Yeah. Oh, and I've got to get a new handbrake cable because I'm doing that snapped. But that's pretty good out of all of it, for that to be the only thing. Yeah, let's get to it. Going to leave that to drip for a bit now. I think I've got as much as I can, but I'm bound to have missed stuff. It's kind of hard to see where you haven't been when it's just pouring on your face the whole time. So yeah, done the best I have for now. I'm going to actually change location now. I'm going to bang the wheels back on it and drive it to the legend that is Ryan Westwood's farm. Same guy that lent me the trailer for Street Weekend, so absolute hero. But I can jack it up there and leave it out the way, and it's not going to cause any issues. Whereas here, I can't get in and out of the garage, and it's just a pain. But I wanted to strip everything here because I've got more tools here, and I knew in case I had problems with stuff, kind of set where I am with it. Now I'm going to put the wheels back on, take it for a drive, dry it out a bit, and then jack it back up, wheels back off, ready to assess what we've got to do. Location number 2. So yeah, luckily put it in the yard here, it's nicely out of the way, and get it jacked up, and it can stay there for a couple of weeks if need be, depending on how long it takes. Got the dogs with me, just need to get jacked up now, get the wheels off, and then tomorrow should be dry enough to start cracking on with that rust treatment. Here we are, day 2 on the Transporter of Love. Yeah, let's have a look around, see what main areas need doing and what we're going to do about them. I did also last night manage to order all new fittings for the undertrays and found a new exhaust heat shield, so I just need one more bit of plastic that's broken and then that's all good. So I've got all the bits and I need to order a handbrake cable. But yeah, today's main goal is sort out any bits that are a bit crusty, treat them, paint them, then ready to put coatings on, but we'll see how we get on basically. So let's have a look, see what we're dealing with. So let's start in this rear wheel arch. Yeah, so the liner kind of hides everything, so it's just a little bit frilly there, a little bit scabby there, and on the back there, which is where the mud traps, which on the other side I've had to put a plate in there, so we'll treat all of that. Other than that, not too bad. It's had a repair plate put in there, but I think that's due to it having accident damage to this side at some point, so that's not an issue. Lower arm scaly, but I'm not really worried about that. I'm going to take the springs and shocks out so they can sort of swing out of the way and I get access to everything and I don't coat them in everything. The main areas under here that seem to be scabby are up in here. That's probably the worst of all of it under here. And then this edge here, which again is not too bad. Clean that all up and treat that. All up in there looks good. We'll drop the fuel tank down a bit and have a look up under there. So yeah, this wheel arch is pretty much the same. A little bit scabby here, all these bits here, and then that's the bit that I repaired previously, but the rest of the actual wheel arch is good. And then just a bit scabby under here, which is all sortable. And then under the rest of the van is actually pretty good. They did obviously wax all them from factory, because there's still loads of that present. I'll drop the exhaust out of the way again. That suspension mount there wants a little bit of work, but nothing major. Up in there is pretty good. Yeah, the whole rest of the body underneath is like that. So those undershields under here haven't actually trapped dirt and made it worse. They have actually stopped it, so that's good. And then up in the front wheel arches, all up there is pretty good. A little bit scabby here and there. A bit up here where again those undertrays just trap mud. A bit up here in the shock towers, but yeah, nothing too major. Subframe's a little bit, a couple of scabby bits on it, but again pretty good for its age. So yeah, nothing horrendous. After finding that rust earlier in the year, I thought I was going to be finding some nightmares, but it's not too bad. So I think we'll start at the rear on those scabby bits, clean them all up, rust treat them. Like I said, the aim today is get everything sort of treated, ready for the final coatings of the products that I've got, and we'll go through them later. Epic bit of filming by myself here. So the first product up is Jenolite's Rust Remover. This is an acid and it actually eats away any of the rust that's there to try and take it back to bare metal. You can get this rust remover in several versions. I've got it in a sprayable thin liquid. You can also get it as a thick liquid for application by brush. In this instance, you spray it on and you keep working it over several minutes, and then eventually you wipe it off once it's eaten away any rust there. Next up is Jenolite's Rust Converter. This encapsulates any rust remaining, stopping oxygen getting from it and stopping it from being able to grow any further. I just did this as belts and braces just to really make sure that the rust couldn't carry on. A simple brush on, and you can see it's blue. Once it converts the rust or covers it, it then turns black, and you know you're ready to put another coating on. Now that I've got all the rust completely cleaned back, treated, converted, the next thing I'm going to do is then paint over those areas with this Eastwood product, Rust Encapsulator Plus. I used it on the Chevelle. I think it basically does the same as what I've done with the rust converter, but it paints it as well. Probably overkill everything I'm going to do to this, but I don't want to do it again and I want to make it last. So I'm going to start painting this onto those areas. I'm not going to do it everywhere, just the bits that I've done all this treatment to so far. Back at it for another day. We're finally on to the top products that we're going to use. And these are the dinitrol ones. So I've got a couple. Got their, we've got their ML cavity wax, which I am also going to spray onto the areas where we've rust treated, just to make sure we've got all that corrosion inhibitor stuff in there. I've got that in aerosol as well. And then for the top coating, we're going with the dinitrol 4941. Yeah, I've always used wax oil before, but this seems to get pretty good reviews. So I'm willing to give it a go. I don't think it's going to come out just like Schutz. Hope it doesn't just look like Schutz. It's actually got some corrosion inhibitor in it, and it's more of a wax rather than just gloopy paint, whatever Schutz is. So yeah, let's get it set up, start spraying it and make a mess. So we've got the dinitrol ML cavity wax all on yesterday, in all the cavities, box sections, everywhere I could get it. And then it says to put a thin coat over the whole underside before then putting on 4941, which is what we're going to do next. Where I'll put that. I've left it 24 hours to cure like they recommend. It still hasn't fully gone off, I don't think. But I need to get this done now, so I'm going to have to put it on. The company I bought it from say put it on wet anyway. I'm going to put it on and see what happens now. It's been 24 hours, more than 24 hours. I'm going to possibly wipe off some of the excess in places, but yeah, let's see how it goes. This is the stuff in hand. It's like another harder wax that goes on afterwards, just to protect everything from road grime and salt getting to it. So let's get spraying, get covered in black stuff. While all the undertrays are off and before they go back on, I thought we might as well give them just a quick jet wash off, so you know, because they'll hopefully never have to come off again. Yeah, there they all are. Actually, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 undertrays. I was close at 30. And I've also got a couple of replacements. One of the exhaust heat shields for the rear. The other one had rotted out around the mounts, which is pretty common, and it had actually worn out above the exhaust, so that one can go in the bin. And then the other one is the one above the, well, that hides the coolant pump, the electric one. It's always been missing half itself, so I found one on eBay, meant to be in good order, also has a crack in it. Well done. But it's more complete than the one I've got, so we're going to roll with it. That's everything fully applied then, and it's looking pretty good. A nice even black finish everywhere. Yeah, I've managed to get it in everywhere, as much as I can. These were the sort of like the real scabby bits where all the suspension is. They've come out real nice. Now the 4941 that I've used, it looks like Schutz, but it isn't. Like Schutz, I did a bit of reading on it, is like a bitumen, and it's really thick, and people just spray it on just to actually hide rust, I find. Whereas this is actually like a waxy film. It stays waxy, so it's like wax oil, but it goes off more than wax oil, and it's only a thin layer. They do it in like a clear brown, which maybe I should have done so it doesn't look like I've just put Schutz everywhere, but it looks quite nice. Other than, I think what makes it not look nice is where people abuse the use of Schutz on stuff normally. But yeah, I'm happy with it. It's going to protect it hopefully for years to come now. Also, it gets everywhere, splashback. Being so close to it when I'm spraying it, I had splashback all over my face, on my arms. I wore overalls to try and stop it. It took some scrubbing, and I've still got quite a bit on me, to be honest. Still all on my arms. But yeah, so just be warned, you will get covered in it. Even have the Audi as a backup car. It was still a struggle to get all the covers in. Yeah, she is full up. All of that just on the bottom of that thing. What a joke. First job of the morning though is to put all these rubber bungs back in. I took them all out. One, so it didn't look like I sprayed over them, and two, so I could get all the cavity wax into every hole possible. So let's get them all chucked back in. Now, with it being, was it 2008, 2024, 16 years old, a lot of the fittings weren't the greatest, so I managed to pick up all new Undertray fixings, and the little push clips off the company, I think it's vehicleclips.co.uk. I'll put a link to it anyway. Super cheap, bought 100 each, more than I need, but it'll do it all. Also got a new exhaust mount for the rear, because that's looking pretty scabby, so yeah, put it back together better than it was. And then there's obviously a few screws and that which are still all okay, which I will reuse, which are all boxed down there. Now, from memory, because this was a week ago I took this apart, and I didn't label it all or anything, this one needs to go on first, then possibly that one, and then I think a tray around the back because it's got a random clip behind everything else, and then it will all hopefully just fall into place. So let's stick a time lapse on and start scratching my head and figuring this out. So that's all 27 Undertrays refitted. What a pain that is. Don't want to be taking them off anytime soon again. And also a new handbrake cable. And also, turns out I'm actually completely missing one. So there would actually normally be 28. That one that was broken, that I ordered a new one for, turns out there's another one that bolts onto it. I just thought it was missing a piece, which it was, but there's also a whole nother one. So I'll show you that. Hopefully one of you guys can tell me what part number I need to replace it, because it'd be nice to get it all complete under there. Last thing to go on is this old exhaust system. It looks rough, but it is actually pretty solid still. I did modify it to get it out, because these are normally one complete piece and you can't get it out from the suspension arm without taking it off, which I was not doing. So it uses a sleeve up that end, so I've cut it on a straight section of the exhaust, which I need to clean that cut up actually, and then I'm going to put another sleeve there. So all good, don't need to buy a new one, didn't need to drop the lower arm. Old exhaust mount, perfectly functional, looks a bit rough. New exhaust mount, not a lot of money, looks a lot better. Tried recording fitting it, but the camera fell off my head. But anyway, that's worked out well. All back on. Scabby old exhaust. And if I ever get a bit excited and feeling a bit fruity, I can take that off and put a pipe straight out and still have a silencer in there. So yeah, no spare wheel yet, because I still need to clean up and paint that bracket. I can't bring myself to just bang it back on looking all scabby. But yeah, other than that, all back together. Just got the sketchy job of getting the wheels on and getting it back off the axle stands now. So now we've got it home, back off the stands. The only thing we've got left to do is to refit the spare wheel carrier, which was looking quite grotty, and I couldn't bring myself to put it on in that state. So I've ended up shot blasting it and then painting it with some chassis black paint. So it now looks brand new. So let's get that refitted and then we can call this job done. So that kind of concludes our underbody treatment of this whole thing. All back together, all fully treated, multiple layers, multiple processes, all rust treated. Yeah, all looking good. Should last me a good few more years now, fingers crossed. And yeah, all good. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, give us a like, give us a subscribe. Let us know if you'd have done anything different, and we'll catch you in the next one.